Episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com. Authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of the Nak Muay. Go check it out.
I want to talk about Black Room at Teep Studios. If you enjoy the content of this podcast, you will definitely enjoy the value that you get out of the Black Room and being a member of the Black Room. What it is it's a subscriber-based way to support the podcast. If you enjoy the podcast and want it to continue, I'm asking for your help. And in exchange, you're going to get an underground view of Muay Thai, American Muay Thai, as well as within Thailand. We have people who are now working on the ground in Thailand that are helping us get media, content, all that stuff. We're posting it there on Black Room, as well as behind-the-scenes footage of the podcast recordings when we're recording. After I stop recording for stuff that we broadcast, we put some subscriber-based only content on there. So you're going to really get a lot of value out of that subscription. Okay, it's not just supporting the podcast. We also have podcast subscriber-only merchandise that's coming out as well here in 2024. So you have to be a part of the Black Room in order to get access to that. So I'm asking you for your help on that, but I know that it's not so much of you helping me. It's going to be us giving you a ton of value that you're going to get and just enjoy it. And it's only $5 a month. All right, you can cancel it anytime. Every little bit counts. Please go join it. The link is down in the show notes. All right. Anyways, sit back and enjoy the show. What do you call it? Welcome to this episode of Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. I'm here with Master Bob Karmel and John Crane. I'm going to hear a little bit about John and what his relationship is with Bob. Apparently, John gave Bob a concussion way back in the day.
Yes, way back in the day. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good to have you. We just got back from Chompies, and hopefully we're able to get the recording going now. So we were talking a little bit about Ellen, and Bob made a reference to oral sex, and
Not me. I didn't do it.
Yeah, wasn't you.
Wasn't you.
So let's go into a little bit. We're talking about that.
About oral sex.
About oral sex and Ellen DeGeneres. So Ellen actually lives in Santa Barbara. So do you know Santa Barbara, California?
I know it.
So that's
I can't say I know it well, but
yeah. Before I was bored, it became this big haven for like celebrities, and they really like ruined the town. It actually started from the guy from the Beanie Babies. There are Beanie Babies.
Yeah, vaguely.
So he bought. I guess he bought an estate in Santa Barbara and realized if he threw money at the city council, he'd be able to like change the city for how he wanted it to be. And he started by Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, this Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and a bunch of other big celebrities live there. And it turned into this big like celebrity jerk-off fest, which sucks because Santa Barbara is actually a really cool town. There's a lot of people there where it's really still pretty badass, but there's no middle class there, kind of working into that. If you couldn't already tell, by the way, this is getting a little bit more like an adult-rated version of the show. So, John, tell me a little bit. Now you're living in Bangkok, Thailand.
Yes, have been for a very long time.
So since the 90s, right?
Yeah. First went there in the mid-90s to open a rep office for JP Morgan.
Shit. So, we're talking...
Just before the Asian financial crisis.
Yeah, the Asian financial crisis. You also know in Thailand, Tom Yong-gun era, right? So it was like everything that happened where it came into some people shorting the Thai baht, essentially, right?
Well, that was part of it. Yeah, a lot of big hedge funds trying to short the Thai baht.
Yeah, so we're kind of discussing a little bit Thai politics, talking about Elvis and things like that too. But to get straight to the point, tell me how you know this guy. How do you know Bob?
So in 1988, I left. I'd been working in China, and I applied to grad school in Philadelphia. Went back to Philly for grad school. And I went all over Philly trying to find a gym to train Muay Thai because I'd gotten into training Muay Thai while I'd been in China. I'd been traveling down to Thailand, training at Fairtex. So I went all over town trying to find a gym to train Muay Thai. And I got just turned away everywhere. Oh, no, we only do Taekwondo. Oh, no, we only do this. And then I walked into a gym in Center City where Bob was teaching Wing Chun and said, hey, I'm really interested to find a place to train Muay Thai. And he's like, oh, yeah, we can do that. And so... a friendship was born that has, been sustained through all these decades. This was 1988.
That was the year I was born. I was born way back, didn't it?
Hey,
I've been doing this.
Hey, we warned you. We warned you. You got old guys on the podcast there today. So
That's why I wanted you though. That's why I wanted you on, because we were talking a bit too. Is like there was a generation gap of documenting because there wasn't access to media equipment, like all these cameras, podcast stuff. Like unless you were a major talk show host on radio or had access to major media people, you weren't able to really document this stuff. Besides a little writing, talking shit in Black Belt magazine in the back, right? And even then, not everybody was doing that, and there's no real like archive of it. I was telling you that a gentleman who came in onto our live stream that we had, and he was talking about like, do you know who Ajahn Chai is? It's like, yeah, of course, right? But not everybody might not know who that is.
yeah, like Api did.
Yeah, Api did.
In Thailand, he's everybody.
He was the shit. Yeah,
right. He's the Muhammad Ali of Muay Thai.
Yeah, he was breaking. He retired because he had no more competition, right?
Well, I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, but I think after his Muay Thai career, he actually boxed for a little while, and won some Asian boxing titles as well. So
he took some punishment, though. I think he was time to take a rest.
From just like
getting hit in the head.
Yeah, let's get this look. That's close enough for you, Bob. I turned your mic up, so you're good now.
But I think just as John came into the gym and asked me about Thai boxing, we had met, and I mentioned it in our earlier podcast, that we had met these two waiters in a Thai restaurant in Philadelphia that said they were Thai boxers. And they were they were better than we were. And they started coming up to my gym, and we were doing some pad work with these two guys. Of course, we didn't have the Thai pads. We had those Century Karate Shield things. And we were starting to do that. And when John came in and wanted to do some Wing Chun and mentioned he had done some Thai boxing, I go, well, we're starting to do some Thai boxing. And there was like 4 or 5 of us that would meet after classes were done and started doing it. And I think we had one video of a Chai seminar that we were stealing techniques off of for months. And then we finally made a trip to
Pittsburgh.
They went to a Chai seminar.
Don Guerin, right?
Don Guerin in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Who is Don Guerin?
Don Guerin was a JKD student, student of Danny Santos and Chai and Mike and I and that Paul Vunak and those guys back in those days. And he had a studio in Pittsburgh, and he would do seminars with these guys. And we would drive out there and go do these seminars with Chai, met Chai, and started, being one of Chai's guys.
Yeah, so it started off as just me and Bob training, usually on the weekend. And then a couple of his senior Wing Chun students joined, so there's about 4 or 5 of us. And then 2 years later, when I finished grad school, was leaving, you probably had, 50 students in your class by that time?
Army of people training
Muay Thai.
So around what year was that?
88 to 90.
88, 90, still same time.
Yeah.
So,
and then the summer of 90, after I graduated, Bob dropped tons of weight. You went from about 235 or something down to 180. Came to Thailand to train.
Yeah.
Came off the plane, I almost didn't recognize him.
Shit. Well, I mean, he's lost a lot of weight too the past couple of years, so it's a common theme.
Trying to stay there now. But,
I don't know if we want to tell the story of your first evening in Bangkok.
No, it was off.
So does it involve a night near Sukhumvit or Nana Plaza?
No, it involves a night in the Patpong. So Bob came off the plane. I said, "Are you hungry?" You went, it's like at 10 o'clock at night. And Philip had sent us with one of his drivers in a big BMW.
Well, for those that don't know, Fairtex.
Yes,
right?
Guru of Fairtex. And so I took Bob down to Patpong, to just a beer bar on the street, because it's a lively night scene down there, right? So the music is playing really loud, and a Katili comes over.
Victoria is a lady boyfriend, anybody that doesn't know.
Puts her arm around Bob's shoulders and says something, and the music's really loud. He can't hear her, right? And he goes, "What?" And the music stops, and she says, "Hi, what's your name?" And Bob turned to me, and his eyes were just this big, It's like, Here's this buff, tough dude, and suddenly he's like terrified.
I think the scariest part was that I went to the bathroom to take a piss, and so did she. She was standing next to me.
Urinal.
Wow, you're a special girl, aren't you?
Yeah.
We're back to that adult version of the podcast.
But here's the thing. That's the reality. Like the first time I went to Thailand, 2008. Like I knew that Ladyboys Couture was like a thing,
Right.
and I didn't realize how real of a thing it was until we were at like I remember the first thing I didn't expect to see a KFC in a 7-Eleven. For those that know, like now like KFC, 7-Eleven, that shit's everywhere.
Absolutely.
It was a Couture that was talking to me and at the cash register, and I remember just thinking like, oh, yeah, I guess it is that normal here.
Yeah.
So
nobody thinks anything of it.
no, it's third gender. It's as normal as like you see it in Thailand. Of course, there's probably barriers and shit like that go into it. You were talking about I think the knit for Nong Tum. You use the term boom boom.
Boom Boom Toom. That was
Tum.
the nickname.
That was the nickname for Nong Tum back then. Okay.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know what Nong Tum is, there's a movie about her. It's a
Beautiful boxer. Yeah.
Yeah, actually a good movie. Like
I've not seen it.
I didn't know it was a real story. Like when I saw it, I didn't know it was like actually based upon somebody until later on. But so you got Bob over there. He got spooked by a Couture.
His first evening. Yeah.
First evening there. So
But
As I remember the first evening, I got off the plane, and it's like major flying. And John picks me up, and we go to Chinatown, right? And I meet Philip Wong at his Chinese restaurant, and he's in a room upstairs playing cards with these guys. You remember that?
yeah.
And-
That wasn't the first night though, but that was that first week. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's when I met Philip, and we ended up staying in that Chinese restaurant.
Yeah. He had a room upstairs for his chef that he had brought over from Hong Kong, and the chef didn't live there anymore. So Bob and I it was smaller than this space we're in right now.
I actually have a
And-
picture
and
of you on the mattress on
Yeah.
the floor.
So we had mattresses on the floor.
still have it.
The picture.
Yeah. Bob was about 6 inches away from me, and just to for the record, this guy snores.
Yeah.
So I
Sleep apnea.
I learned more. He had a sleep machine.
so I'd roll over and Teep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'd move, stop snoring, I'd go back to sleep. So yeah, so we'd get up in the morning at like 5 and get in a tuk-tuk who would drive us out to Bang Nan to the camp.
Yeah. So it was Fairtex Bangplee at the time, right?
Yep.
So back then, like who was in the camp when you guys were there back in this is early 90s? Yeah.
So in terms of trainers
Or
or
just fighters and
Because-
and trainers.
well, fighters at that time, Neng Siam was a kid. We used to send him to buy ice for us, right?
When you say kid, like how tall?
He was like 12 years old. No, because the weight limits, you got to be 101 pounds to fight in the stadiums in Bangkok. So the kids don't come to Bangkok camps until they're 101, right?
Yeah.
So I think he was about 11 or 12 years old. Jong Sanan was still fighting at that time. Ganyao was still a trainer in the camp where we were in those days. Ganyao was still there. Sam was still there. So all the guys who are in the States now, they were all in
Sakasen. Right?
Sakasan.
So I didn't know Sakasen was actually a Fairtex fighter. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was like totally went over my head.
Yeah.
And Mulit was there.
Monlet.
Monlet, yep.
Yeah. So now he's at Sitsong Pinong.
Yeah.
He's like
Monlet was a good trainer.
back then he's good. Yeah, and think about it, that's a few more decades on top of it.
Yeah.
Right. So he's a guy who we just did a little feature on. His name is Ian Greer. He's being trained by Monlet.
Oh, okay.
Pinong. Yeah. He's doing good.
I bet.
So
Monlet, it was a very clever fighter. I mean,
mhm. So when you guys were over there, like the training, then obviously, how much Thai did you speak back then?
8 words.
What was it?
Yeah, I didn't.
Hello, goodbye, thank you, pain.
Yeah, I'm hungry. It hurts. I want to take a shower.
Yeah.
Right? King Kao, Abnam,
Yeah.
Jip.
Yeah, all the essentials.
The essentials. Exactly.
Essentials, yeah. So
I knew nothing.
no.
I was like,
Yes.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But he did have keen perception and insights into Thai culture.
Yeah.
Like you can get almost anything in a plastic bag, right? Coffee in a plastic bag, rice in a plastic bag.
Isn't it like? What's crazy is still that way. Like I know some of it's going away,
Yeah.
but it's still like you get the soda in the plastic bag. You still get you know
We had this guy who would come with a bicycle and a thing in the morning and do coffee, right, in the plastic bag.
He gave to Fairtex. He made coffee. I'd go out there every morning, get a bag.
get that coffee. You can hang it up on the bolt on the side of the heavy bag rack.
You put your little finger in the bag and the straw stuck out, and you just sit
And you walk with it. Yeah.
The other guy who was at the camp, I sent you a picture of him on
The
Messenger.
trainer, you said this guy used to beat my ass.
Tai Boom.
Yeah.
Pai Boon.
And Tai Boom used to kick my ass every day. Meanest motherfucker on the planet. And now I guess he's living in Japan with another guy, and we talk on.
He was grumpy back in those days.
He was, but supposedly shortly before we got there, he broke his leg in a fight. Got his leg broken in a fight. Continued to fight, knocked the guy out with a broken leg, and then came back. But he was like scary.
Talking about that, like we've talked about it before, it's almost like a different era and different mindset for the fighters. Because like he didn't fight with a broken leg because he wanted to. He fight because he fucking had to. It's one of those things like you need that for the money.
It's a payday.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, if I come back from this, if I got a cash injection because they knew what was going on, you probably went big on that.
Yep.
It's life-changing money.
But he used to. I had a knee spar with him every day. He just used to kill me. That's the guy. I let my beard grow out afterwards.
Yes.
This is the guy.
He'd grind it into his face. Yeah.
Grind it into his face. He grind his nubby head into my face.
Yeah, I've had that experience with the trainers. I got pink eye from one of the guys.
Oh, we got that. You remember the whole camp got it one time while we were there. Yeah, the whole
It
camp.
was fun.
As soon as somebody got because your pads.
Hands in the face.
Yeah.
The little sanitary stand is different.
Train on a clock on the wall. All right. And Ganyao was the guy calling
The rounds.
rounds. So sometimes he's watching, sometimes he forgets to watch, So around my
And it's just going and
But
going.
doesn't ever yell at him for forgetting?
Well, the funny thing was the pace of the camp, right? If Philip, for whatever reason, was away on business or at a meeting or whatever, things were like, sabai, right? And then Philip shows up.
Yeah, they got to show the boss.
The noise gets bigger, the noise gets. But Ganyao will watch the clock, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 4 minutes, sometimes 7 minutes. The guys would yell at him, and he'd call around. But they had like one cooler with one cup of water, and everybody was getting one water out of a cup, the same cup. And, now it's scary for everybody to do that. Back then.
Yeah, we had another trip to the camp sometime later where Bob brought a friend over from the States who was, I think he was a chiropractor or something. And we used to all sit around and eat, like Karmel eating, and usually in one of the Thai guys, homes there, the wives would cook, and there'd be a jug of water and one cup. So like everyone's drinking from that same cup. And this guy that had come with Bob, it just completely freaked him out. So he'd bring his own cup. And as soon as he put it down, somebody else would pick it up.
It's what you eat from it. Yeah, because that's what you did. Yeah.
And he'd just lose it.
Well, it's like when you eat the soup, people just stick the spoon in and like eat the soup, right?
Yeah. So it's like the guys in my gym now. They go, "Oh, mess about my feet hurt. Go rub some dirt on it.
Kick a tree.
Just
That's all you want in a fight.
You're here. Come be hard. Don't tell me your foot hurts. You've been here for 4 days. Your foot hurts. Just keep going.
But going into that, you live in Thailand. Have you noticed some of the Thai kids, I guess, maybe are having some similar, like they're getting softer. This generation, bitch, I can't feel like we're like the guys in the back. They're like, oh, back in my day.
Yeah.
But no, it's true.
We had to walk 4 miles to school uphill both ways.
And then watching my hands, right? So going with that, I wonder if it's is it more of a reliance on technology that's making people more aware of I guess.
I think some of that, right? I think societies are getting more affluent.
Well, especially Thailand,
right?
They're getting more.
This is evil.
Yeah, what are you holding that shit up, man? Why is that in you? I saw you looking on it.
Yeah, what was trying to find that picture of Thailand.
Okay. I'll pull it up. I'll get it up on the screen earlier on this too.
But I think
But yeah, Thais spend so much time on their phones.
Oh, yeah.
everybody's become so soft. They play internet games. They don't go out and play, you know. They don't go out and run around. I mean, I got into fighting, you know, I started to like to fight at a young age. So I was in Queens, New York, living in Lefrak City. And I was like, I don't know, 10 years old, third grade, something around there. And these guys were playing basketball and the ball went over the fence. And they were, hey, yo, go get the ball. They go, fuck you, go get your own ball. And they all climbed over the fence and beat the shit out of me. Okay. And they would chase me down every day they saw me, that group of guys. And I started fighting them. I just turned around, would grab one of them and started fighting hard. And the rest of them beat me up okay, but
We got one.
I got one, you know. And it was just different. I don't think kids now, they cried, they go tell their mother. I never told my mom about any of that shit that went on.
She didn't care.
I come home.
She had her own heart shit.
I come home, my shirt all messed up, my face messed up. So what'd you do today? Nothing. You know. And, you know, today they go and they cry to their moms about stuff. And then they stay home, play video games, play a computer.
Ooh.
You know, I don't know. It's just all different. Not saying it's bad, just different.
Different. Like I said, it's like you're getting more reliant on this technology and different lifestyles, kind of more sedentary. It makes me happy when I see kids playing outside now.
Yeah. I didn't know you couldn't drink water out of the hose in your garden.
What do you mean you can't?
You're not supposed to drink water out of the hose. It's bad for you.
You have to drink it out.
Gotta be out of the plastic.
Plastic bottle, microplastics, right? So you pick your poison. I pick the hose every time. Just that's me personally.
Well, the old camp in Bangplee, there used to be a big lawn out in front of it, which is, I think there's equipment manufacturing there now. But the young boxers, they'd get done with training, have some food, and then they'd all go play football, soccer on the lawn. And more often than not, you'd see one of these kids limping or they'd be injured somehow, and you'd be like, oh, did you have a fight? No, football. They get hurt playing football. They wouldn't get hurt boxing.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, you're in a padded room with wearing gloves and shit like that, and you expect to get hit. I've talked about this before. You expect to get hit. You play soccer, you don't expect to like get hit that hard, but I think it makes the injuries worse.
They also played soccer barefoot.
True.
So,
yes.
you know,
Like, yeah.
that's crazy. Crazy to begin with, right?
Yeah.
And that lawn later became
The Tigers.
home for the tiger. Yeah. What was it? Tiger's name? Mimi.
Mimi.
Yeah.
Like a cage.
So back at this time, one of the fads among like ultra wealthy in Thailand was exotic animals,
Okay.
right? So people would have like exotic birds. Philip had all kinds of different dogs, and somebody gave him a pair of tigers, baby tiger cubs, right? A male and a female. And someone had told him that if you feed them cooked food, they'll be more tame. What he discovered painfully was that tigers don't eat cooked food, or they eat it, but they don't thrive on it. So the male died before they figured out that tigers need raw food. The female tiger became a tiger. I mean, she was kind of a big cat on one trip that we went to visit. And then the next time we got back there, full on tiger, her own cage.
Oh, okay.
They had her in a cage. They had one guy who was tasked with feeding her, who I've got a photo of him somewhere holding up his hand
I get
with a
trainer.
picture of it, picture of his finger missing, where Mimi bit his finger off.
He's like, Mimi.
No, I was feeding the cat some chicken and took his finger too.
Got a little back.
So then later they put up a wire between two trees out on that big lawn, and they used to hook her to that thing so she could run back and forth, and she clawed all the bark off the trees up to about, I don't know, 15 feet or something. But just over the bridge was a kid's school. And Bob was warning Philip, you're going to come out and just find a little orange hat and some shoes.
Never happened.
Eventually it did. She got a hold of, they got there in time and the kid was okay, but that's when they shipped her off to the Sriracha Tiger Zoo.
Oh, shit. I don't know if that's a good fate or not, though.
But the tiger on the run that they created could reach onto the driveway a little bit. So in the afternoon, we used to jog up and down the driveway.
Oh.
And I think I have it on video somewhere. I can't find it. But I got Boone Curtin, Ganyao, and me, everybody jogging up and down. And when you got to where the tiger could reach, everybody used to crowd, whoever he inside. got pushed toward. And a lot of times it was Boone Kurt because he was the smallest guy, you know. So Boone Kurt get pushed to the Tiger Road, or Tiger would be lunging at who had to grab their ankles, and everybody go, ah, what's that Tiger? But yeah, the Tiger was just loose. Anybody could walk up to it.
Back in my day.
So that was the warm up before, because you train twice a day. That was the warm up for the afternoon session. The morning session, when we used to run, you know, back in those days, Bangplee, there wasn't much out there. So Apide used to chase us in a pickup truck because, you know, the ties would be lazy, and, you know, and he'd get behind and like literally drive the pickup truck behind us. Yeah.
They threw me in a pickup truck once and left me there. And it looked to me like a Vietnam movie, you know, because it was rice patties and it was all green. And I was always fat and slow. So everybody was gone. And I thought, fuck, I'm going to get lost out here, you know. So I kept running and running and running. And I made it back. But it was nowhere. And there were giant lizards out there and cobras and snakes and shit. I thought I was gonna get lost.
Yeah, we get monitor lizards in Thailand. They're pretty scary looking.
Alligators.
They almost look like alligators. Yeah.
For people that don't know, it's like, is that a fucking alligator?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, it's like you hear the song from, what is it, Peter Pan? Dun, 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 dun. You can almost play that anywhere.
They have them in the lake in Lumpini Park.
Yeah, you see them coming up there. I see guys like sleeping next to there, and people start waking up like, hey, there's a fucking monitor lizard next to you.
We used to jog. I remember John and I were jogging down that road, and we saw one cross the road in front of us. And its tail was at one end, and its head was at the other end. This thing was huge. And I was going, holy shit, what is that? Just like a monster. And it just crossed from one rice paddy to the other. And we used to stop. If you're running, you had to take a leak, you'd pull off and go into the bushes there. No more I peed in the middle of the road. I wasn't going to step off into the bushes anymore.
This says something, though, because like for Thailand, like this kind of, everything's trying to kill you, right? It's kind of like the desert in a way.
Arizona's worse.
Yeah, because apparently this is like we're number one for like weather-related deaths.
Yeah, because it's hot and everything's sharp here.
Yeah, everything will poke into you.
It'll stick you.
There's fucking, you know, snakes, all that shit, you know.
But I thought it was scary in out there in the paddies because it looked like well, no, they came out with those Vietnam War movies like Metal Jacket and stuff.
Full Metal Jacket, yeah.
And it looked like that, you know, that's what it looked like. And there was nothing there. It was just like, you know.
And now it's all just completely built up. That whole area where we used to run, it's just all concrete now.
All concrete. I've seen pictures. There's Tassi Papa Gym. It's in there in like the La Prau area. My friend went there in like 2006. And you showed me pictures, and we were there in 2010. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And even now, from then to now, there was stuff that was still like sections of like this old jolt gone, all concrete. They might still have some bushes and some huts and stuff like that, but nothing. Like I was telling you about this family in Bangkok, downtown Bangkok, a coconut farm.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, you know. But like you don't see that stuff. But it used to be like that, like everywhere. You'd have, you know, jungle. That was. Bangkok, you had your strip, and you go out just outside and jungle. That's like what you had. You had this whole strip of it. So when you guys were not dodging tigers and all that crazy shit, what else would you do? Like, what was nightlife like back then?
Sleep.
Yeah.
They would just go to bed early every night.
Yeah, sleep. What like the bedtime was like 9 o'clock?
By dark.
Yeah, basically when it's dark, you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I got you.
Not so.
Right. You leave that shit down there. But
But on the weekends, we used to blare.
yeah, we used to train Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon we'd go into Bangkok and we'd have a nice dinner. We'd go out on Saturday night and go back to the camp on Sundays.
yeah. Do you hang out with like many trainers or anything like that go with you ever back then?
No, we knew a few folks living in Thailand by then. We'd met some folks. So
Yeah. So, at that time, was there any like at Fairtex Bangplee? Was there like people like anybody from Europe or anything like that there?
Some Japanese guys one time.
yeah, and there was that one kid that came from Australia. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of Farang in those days. I remember Philip telling us stories about there's an old Gregory Hines and Willem Dafoe, an old Vietnam movie. They're like military police investigating something. But anyway, they were filming that in Thailand. And Philip told us Willem Dafoe was coming to the camp to train.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Go figure. Willem Dafoe. Go figure, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But I'm not surprised because, like, you know, even now with like the celebrities, you're finding more and more people. Like I said, with media nowadays, that's the kind of stuff gets coverage, right? Back then, there wasn't anybody there, and with Thais generally, there wasn't like now in the Thai schooling system, they're learning English, right? For like elementary English. Back then, it was like you had to speak Thai, you had to like read Thai. It was a shit in English.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that until like 6-7 years ago, like where like Bangkok, I know like a lot of SkyTrain signs, they weren't in English. They didn't have English stuff.
Yeah, usually they had both.
It's small, but now it's like really accessible.
Yeah.
Before it was like you had to go find a separate sign or something like that.
Yeah, and then if you go to Phuket, everything's in both. Yeah, they got menus in Russian everywhere.
Giant sign and menu in Russian.
It's like
small and Thai.
It's like a
It's
like a Russian province.
To keep a card in my pocket that said in Thai, return this guy to this address if you've lost.
If you can't find him, he's showing you this card. He's lost.
So I always kept an address of whatever hotel we were staying at, which was usually Kanana Hotel, or the name of the camp, you know, and a phone number at the camp, which was usually like Philip's house or something, or was Happy Days a house over there in case we got lost. I got lost or something because I had no idea what was going on most of the time I was there.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. John knew what was going on, and other people around me knew what was going on, but I had no idea.
Yeah, shit, man. Like, I think for a lot of people that, I can't really picture it from that era. Like I said, he has some pictures and videos and stuff like that, but it's very different now. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mr. Wong had a giant, like, 30-foot fucking python and some of those owls at Fairtex back in, like, 2010. And I think, like, 2013, I think he had, like, the python still, but it's gone now. But I remember seeing they were, like, feeding it, like, live shit when I was there. And they're going, stay away. I'm like, what? Like, python. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm not going over there. Like, oh, some Falong are, like, really scared. I'm like, it doesn't bother me. I know you guys. I'm like, it's going to eat him before it eats me. We're good.
Well, he had, back when we were there, I think he still has somewhere these, I can't remember the name of the fish, but it's Amazonian fish. No, this thing grows to like huge size. And he said when he got it, it was like small and just monster fish. And at one point there was some problem with the pond and they needed to drain it and move the fish.
Broke
And
somebody's ribs.
Yeah, through this.
It's moving.
Well, it took 3 of them to pick this thing up and move it. And it threw one boxer like into the wall.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And we were asking Philip, like, well, how is it that it doesn't eat all these other fish that are in there? He goes, oh, he grew up with them, so he knows them. But if I put any new participants into the pond, immediate dinner.
And one afternoon, and I think I still have a picture of it, Boone Kurd caught a cobra right outside the front gates of the Fairtex camp.
Did you buy barbecue it?
I didn't, but we did have it for dinner because I was asking, what was that in the bowl? And Boone Kurd and Tide probably said, oh, it's the cobra we caught this afternoon. And I didn't understand what I said. And I go, what? Have I lied? And he just goes, same. He goes, yeah. You know.
So there's a fermented sort of fish dish from that called pala. That they
don't eat that if you're a foreigner, by the way.
Well, we ate it until we saw how it got made.
Oh,
and
you sick from it?
No. Well, we pretty much ate everything.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
like that had the bacteria in it. Like, I know a lot of like foreigners' guts, like your gut biome can't handle it. You're really sick.
Well, Bob was like, hey, you know, they just threw some fish outside. And I'm like, what?
So explain what mala is.
It's a fermented fish.
How do they make it?
They put a bunch of fish outside in the sun and let it hang for a while. I mean,
jars of shit.
And then they ferment it. Yeah.
They put.
It's raw fish, by the way.
The first time I saw that fish thing, it was in a clump in a bowl when we sat down to eat, like all the other dishes. So I took a little chunk of it with my spoon and put it on my rice, and I stuck it in my mouth. And they all go, no. And I go, like
what?
In Cheech and Chong, you go, oh, no, don't take those pills, dude. And I already ate it, and then it exploded in my mouth. I go, oh. Oh, this is horrible. And then they showed me they just take sticky rice and just touch it.
Yeah, they don't eat like a whole thing. It's just for flavor.
Whole
Or
chunk.
they put it in somtam.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I went to this place in Chiang Mai. That's the first time I had it. I'm like, I'll try it. So I'm like, I walked past it, like, you can smell it. Kind of smells like feet. Like someone's shoe that had been sitting out for a while. That's what it kind of smelled like. I tried a little bit with like the sticky rice, and I was like, I'm good. I had a girlfriend with me at the time. She said, oh, I'll eat more of it. You're so sick.
Oh yeah.
So sick. Yeah. She said, I don't know why I'm sick. I'm like, because you ate a bunch of fucking your stomach can't handle it, you know? Even if you think it's good, your stomach's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they always seem to want to add something to somtam to make it more dangerous somehow, you know.
This place, I think it's called Somtam Udon. It's like a very famous like papaya salad restaurant that's up there. It was that packed. They had like 30 different variations.
Because they have these little fermented crabs that they'll somtam Puu. Yeah, I like somtam Puu, the black crab,
Like
right?
good with it, with a salty
crab.
cheese and
Yeah.
stuff in there. Then the salted egg also, I really liked that when I was eating it. And I was like, so I was vegan for like 5 years. And people always give me shit. Oh, you don't eat this. I'm like, man, no, I easy. Like everything. Just, like when I was there, I was just, my friends go, you want to try that? And like, do you want to know what it is? No, I'll try it though. I think the only thing I didn't really like was like tripe. Like,
Yeah.
the stomach, because it's like it almost has like a fur in it. And I just didn't sit well in my stomach.
But you're a menudo guy, so you're okay with tripe.
Yeah, menudo is different though than what I had for the tripe. Like the way it.
But menudo is tripe.
Yeah, I know, but it's cooked differently.
Oh, okay.
Like the soup that they had it in. This was more like boiled, and it wasn't like cleaned up all the way. So it's kind of like you get feel.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound right.
No, it was pretty gross. But like when it comes into food and stuff like that, man, it's like a foodie's paradise in Thailand.
Yeah, even more so now. It's just exploded, the food scene in Bangkok.
Yeah, well, they shut down. You know, I was at Ratchathani Stadium. When was the last time you went by there?
Oh, I haven't been to Ratchathani in years. I just
remember they had the big tree outside.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Oh, that's a tragedy.
It's gone. And they put a giant spirit house in this place because obviously they knew it was gonna be bad luck cutting this tree down, right? So they put this nice platform, giant spirit house. All those vendors that are there, gone. There's no outdoor vendors there. I was like totally shocked at because it just happened in like a year.
Yeah, there's been a big debate about that whole food street vendor thing. You know, they were trying to clean it up, and then they were saying, "Oh, well, we'll put them only in certain locations." Yeah,
because it's like in Jati Jock Market, like they still have it, obviously, in like these big markets. But it used to be outside of Jati Jock, out in the street, and it's not there.
Well, Seaholm at nighttime, there used to be vendors all over the place, and you know, it seems like they're trying to
almost regulate a little bit.
Yep.
But at the same time, that was one of the things that made it like very special.
Absolutely.
Right. I haven't been down Khao San Road. I went down there like twice. This is not really my scene. But I think that's still like very similar as well. And they've been kind of condensed into these night markets.
Yep.
Stuff now. So there's one I went to. I think it's Lift One, which is very nice. And then there's also like
Talat Road 5, right? That train market.
Yes. Yeah. So like they're getting more condensed into those areas, and you can't go outside of it. From my understanding, like I appreciate it when they're doing the street food. I also get it because I know it's like, you know, I would always stay away from a lot of that stuff because they'll be like, you know, how do they clean the dishes if you eat new ones? Like you go see the black water, they're dumping it in.
Well, like down in Seaholm, you know, there used to be people pushing carts around with all kinds of things too. And one of the ones you'd see a lot were the fried bug ladies. You remember the fried bug lady? You know, they got 19 different varieties of fried bugs.
Yeah. So, and bugs, like I always bring people to a place like when I bring them over to Thailand to try it, because everybody's like, "Oh, can we try it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure," but it doesn't taste like much for doof.
No, it's like just
tastes like grass.
Yeah,
like
or dust.
Yeah, just and it with like
tastes like crunchy. Yeah,
they're spicy.
I think one of the best things about Thailand back in the 80s as compared now is when you went there, it was a total disconnect from what you're doing in the States.
All that shit.
Well, you were far away. If you needed to call somebody in the States, it was a long distance phone call or very expensive, a fax. So you were totally disconnected from here. Now when you go there, I mean, I have students that go there, friends that go there. I still talk. I mean, I talk to you on the.
He texts me.
I was like, you're 2 minutes away. It's the same as when you're down the block as you're thousands of miles away. So there is not that disconnect.
Mm.
You know.
You don't feel as like isolated.
You know, you're totally in a different planet. You know, when you went to Thailand back in the 80s, and there was no guardrails, no safety rails. You couldn't just pull out your phone and go to Google Maps and say, okay, how do I walk there?
All right, so changing up a little bit. So tell me a little bit about your fighting history, because you were talking about fighting in the U.S. on Bob's promotion back in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That was after we had fought in Thailand.
that's the fought in Thailand.
Fought in Suratburi.
So yeah, Sarbury, Thailand, Sarbury Stadium and stuff, which is still there. It's still got fights going on.
But you should mention the Celebrity fight because you still have a scar on your shin from that, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you busted your shin open?
Yeah, busted my shin open, and after the fight, they threw me on a table literally right beside the list, stitching it up, and I kept trying to sit up to look at it, and he kept slamming me down on the table because he's like, "You don't want to see this."
Every time they stuck the needle in, because the skin was so tough, it pulls the thing open and it sees whole shin bone. I go, he's going, let me see how you know what. Sit down, and I still had stitches in my eye from my fight. Yeah, we're a mess.
Yes. I mean, that's like Sarbury is very much country for anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much countryside.
And then I got back. I was working in Singapore at the time for a big U.S. corporate. And when I got back, I went to see the company doctor, to get the stitches out. And Indian guy, and he was, "Oh, this is very bad." It's just
all fine.
all infected in there.
We went scuba diving with our stitches.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we just got some of that liquid plastic stuff.
So yeah, just put it over it.
Painted it over that when scuba diving. Shit.
Hey, you went in Thailand, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
make it work.
we had planned a holiday. We weren't going to give up the holiday just because we got some cuts.
So going back into fighting in the U.S., you were just talking about this story. Like you were some people from the Jet Center, the AHS.
Well, so my best friend of many, many years is a guy named Roger Yuan, who's a really accomplished martial arts actor, and he trained a lot at the Jet Center. And so I was getting ready for Bob's fight. I went trained a bit in Thailand, came back to the States, stopped through LA, was hanging out with Roger. We went up to the Jet Center, and I had a fight like a couple days later, right? And these guys stuck me in the ring with P.D. Cunningham,
He got it.
who knocked me around pretty good.
Like I was saying, he is my friend Sean Yakubian, who was at the Jet Center as a kid and stuff like that. He knew Peter Cunningham and all of them. He was just at our event that we had last weekend too, with some fighters. So he's still around, man. That's cool to like hear this side too.
Yeah, so I got my legs beat up pretty well playing with Pete, and then just a few days later I'm in Philly for a fight. So I was like trying to like massage and Nornica and everything, get myself feeling good for the fight.
Did you guys bring back like Nam and Muay back then?
Yeah.
We brought back everything we have in our hands.
Like it can't do
People
custom.
were always asking us to smuggle it in, so we were always carrying Naman Muay with us when we came.
Yeah, that like it's funny to see like the accessibility of that now and everything too. It's crazy. So you were telling me you were supposed to fight like 144 pounds on Bob's promotion over there.
Yeah, and the guy, was it Tony Moore? Was that the guy?
Tony Moore from England.
Yeah,
Manchester.
So he had some really accomplished fights.
Yes.
And the guy that I was supposed to fight for whatever reason backed out. I can't remember why. And they said, "Oh, we got another guy. He can probably fight like 156." And foolishly, I said, "Sure, okay." And it was just we got in a clinch. I remember we got in a clinch in the first round, and I just couldn't even budge the guy. I couldn't move him at all. And he was elbowing me on top of the head because he was just bigger than
The guy, yeah. So you were just saying too, that guy just before that fight fought.
He had evidently previously fought Rod Common.
Yeah. So
I
rest in peace. But
I was out of my depth.
yeah,
Like,
Rod Kamen is like, top of the top.
and then the
right?
crazy thing was somebody had a video of this fight. So fast forward quite a few years, I joined JP Morgan. I'm working in a team covering Latin America, and one of my colleagues comes in to me and says, "I saw you fighting Muay Thai." And I'm not, all of this is like,
He's accusing you.
I'm like, "Nah, was he?" I'm like, "Nah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me." He's like, "It was you. They said this guy was a Wharton grad," and they said it was like on ESPN 8 or something.
Yeah.
It was on the Ocho. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere down there.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in today, taking the time to share a little bit of your story, talking about your time with Bob, and kind of filling the gaps, because we've talked about it here on the show before.
Sure.
And a lot of that groundwork you guys did kind of fostered into what Muay Thai is today here in the U.S. Right? So like without people doing what you guys did, it like we wouldn't have had access to it. So thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Bob, thanks for coming in today, man.
Always a pleasure.
Teep Studios. All right, guys. Until next time, remember to like, follow, subscribe. Everything's going to be down in the show notes for any references. I'll do my best to get all the content put together for this. If you're listening, remember to leave a review. Check out Golden Era Muay Thai in Scottsdale, Arizona. What's your Instagram? Golden Era _ Muay Thai. Great, Jim. I'll find it. It'll be down in the show notes, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
All right, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. If you enjoy the content, go leave a review over on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a rating. It means the world to us. Also, if you want to be a guest on the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast, or if you just want to shout out to your friend, go check us out at podcast.puumuaythai.com. You can submit to be able to be a guest on the podcast. You can submit what you want to talk about. Also, if you want to just give a shout out, there's a button for that too. Sawadee Kop.